Brian, I love your on-the-road pieces where you explore small neighborhoods that have a strong cultural identity, because you're essentially telling the story of America. Who moved where and why? They brought their food with them. So it's the story of America told through the dinner table.
Yeah, one plate at a time. And like, who knew that Boise, Idaho, of all places, would have this strong cultural pocket of Basque people? You know, it doesn't only exist in Idaho, it's also, you know, Nevada, it's Bakersfield, California, but it's such a joy to get to explore the food and also the stories behind the food and the dishes. So today we're going to be talking about Dan and Sadagi's clams and chorizo.
That chorizo looked fantastic.
Yeah, it is an amazing thing. So we're going to talk about the clams to start. We have little neck clams here. This is about 2 pounds of little neck clams. And the thing you need to know about working with clams is that they come covered with a fair amount of sand.
Yes, they do.
So I always like to take all the clams and just slosh them around in a little bit of water and kind of knock off the loose sand. But you can also just scrub them with this brush and just knock off all the sand, because that is one thing you don't want to have in your finished dish.
Yeah.
And when you're buying fresh clams, you want to make sure they're closed tightly, like this. They smell fresh. They shouldn't smell, you know, rancid or like fishy, really. And, you know, for this particular dish, you want to stick with little neck clams or something smaller than this, and no bigger than this, because then it kind of moves out of the realm of a tapas dish into something more of an entree, I guess. All right, now we're going to talk about chorizo, or as Dan pronounces it, chorizo.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a different pronunciation.
Okay.
He makes his own. So he makes chistorra, regular chorizo, and mozzak. Mozzak is what he uses in this dish. All the chorizos he makes are fresh chorizos, so meaning they have to be cooked before they're eaten. The mozzak in particular is flavored with rosemary and roasted garlic. It's a little bit fatter, a little bit chubbier than the other varieties of chorizo that he makes. Since we can't get that very easily, we're going to use Spanish dry cured chorizo. So this is fully cured and ready to eat. So we're going to use about 2 ounces of this, which is yay much. I made this dish so many times that I could yay it through, you know? And we're just going to slice it thin, anywhere between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch.
You know, I love that Dan was trying to recreate his grandmother Eppie's sausage, because I feel like she had nothing written down. So he was just figuring it out. He said he was on test number something.
Yeah, number 18 or something like that, yeah.
I feel like that's the position a lot of people are in, trying to document their family history for future generations. Nothing's written down, so there's a little testing involved.
Yeah, and the funny thing about, you know, the peppers that they use, sometimes they're able to get those chistorra peppers there locally grown in Idaho. Other times they import them, but sometimes they can't, and they have to use a combination of Mexican peppers to get that same flavor. So it's really interesting. It's a constantly evolving process. So we can add our chorizo to our skillet. Then we're going to slice up 4 cloves of garlic, nice and thin. All right, so our garlic will go in there. And then we could add 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to our skillet. We want this to be nice and rich. We'll turn this to medium-high heat. We're gonna let this cook for about 3 minutes until the garlic begins to brown around the edges and that paprika starts to ooze out into the oil. It'll stain the oil red with it.
You can see it's already happening.
This dish comes together very quickly. Okay, you see how the oil is nicely perfumed and colored with that paprika?
And so aromatic.
Right. So we could add our clams now. They're our washed clams. We're going to leave this over medium-high heat. We're also going to add 2 tablespoons of chopped pimentos. And in order to help the clams steam a little bit and pop open and to create a really nice flavorful sauce, we're going to add some white wine. But first we're going to add a little bit of cornstarch. We have a teaspoon of cornstarch. We're going to add to 3/4 of a cup of white wine. You could use any kind of dry white wine that you have here.
Okay.
So add the white wine to this.
Ooh, that's a hot pan.
Yeah. We're going to keep it on the medium-high heat because we want that kind of hot steam to pop those clams open. We'll let this cook for 8 minutes until those clams open up.
Sounds good.
You can see that all of our clams are opened. You smell that too. It's a combination of the sea and that chorizo. Now, this would typically serve about 4 people as a tapas, you know.
I would eat this as a meal, actually. A little salad on the
You're
side.
You're about to. So I'll divide these up between the 2 of us. If any of the clams at this point have not opened, we want to just discard those clams. So now we can add a tablespoon of parsley. And now I like to spoon the sauce over top of the clams. That way it gets in each one. So this is great. I love putting this on a platter at a little gathering, you know, a couple glasses of wine out. a big thing of sliced bread.
Yeah, because you want something to soak up that sauce.
And first of all, I like to go in and just try some of the broth.
Oh.
It's just so simple, so straightforward. The wine is just enough acidity to cut the richness of those clams in the chorizo.
Yeah.
And the olive oil makes a nice, luscious sauce.
That broth is drinkable. There weren't many ingredients in that sauce. Just garlic, chorizo, broth, and little pimento. Yeah, there's such a depth to the flavor. For full episodes of your favorite cooking shows, head over to ATK's Full Episodes channel on YouTube. You can stream complete seasons of America's Test Kitchen, Cook's Country, and more. See you there.